Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the Banter Blitz. After several really hot days in Germany, it feels like I've lost at least half of my brain. So, not that my brain was really efficient before that, but today I actually expect a lot of blunders, pretty slow play, so on and so forth. But nevertheless, I will try my best to resist. Just as usual, let me know if you can hear and see me well. Artur Ostrovskiy is here, Talis is here, and other guys as well. By the way, I have already noticed the challenge from Kramnik student. This is fantastic. I mean, welcome back, my friend. Yeah, it is still here. We don't have a lot of challenges this time, but actually, well, the situation is improving over time. So let's see. Let's have a look if we have somebody I've never played before. It feels like I've played at least one game against each and every challenger, except for one guy. All right, so I will just accept the first challenge from the guy I've never played before, I suppose. And then we will see. So, what's going on? I'm trying to accept, but for some reason it doesn't work. Wow, that's something new. All right, so let me see. The stream is still more or less fine, right? Yep. Okay, and then I'm playing with white pieces. E4. Let's go. G6. Okay, D4. So, let's go active H4. Intending just to play H5 next move. Alright, so I love when black reacts this way. I can't explain, but for some reason I love this pawn structure. So G takes F4, bishop takes F4, then knight F3. We have some pressure on H6. I understand that after all these actions we have G4, pretty weak, but we can compensate that with active play. And E6, black is not going to take on F4. That's interesting. So now we can take on G5 if we want, and then attack that G5 pawn. It's also possible just to continue with knight to F3. I think this move is a bit better than taking on G5. Because after FG5, HG5, well, H6 may be used by the knight. H5 may become a target. So it's not necessarily that clear. So I want to force black to take on F4 and hence develop my bishop. And if black plays G4, well, I'm not sure that it will be simple to protect that pawn. Let's say I move my knight to H4. It's protected here with the rook. If bishop F6, I have G3. I also have queen takes G4. If knight goes to F6, I can play E5. Alright, knight C6 looks natural. Yeah, attacking D4, which became weakened after my knight went away. And now I have a question. So should I take on G4 and exchange that pawn for a central one? Which already, sounds a bit dubious, because central pawns are more important in the majority of cases. Or I should play something like bishop B5. I guess we should try this move because it's again just a developer move. We pin the knight. If black plays something like bishop D7, we may try D5, I guess. ED5 when the knight goes away. F5 square becomes accessible for the knight. H4, which is otherwise quite passive here on the edge of the board. So let's try it. It looks interesting, at least. I'm not sure if it is good for me, but it looks interesting. Let's say ED5, where the knight goes, that's the question. G4 will be hanging. So now let's take on D7. And then take on G4. So D4 is no longer hanging, that's the thing, and feels like we are a pawn up. which is good. Now after this bishop is gone, how black is going to protect dark squared weaknesses? I have no idea. I mean, I have a threat of queen g7 already, and I think it works right now. Rook is hanging, knight is hanging as well. My queen is not going to be trapped there on f6. In this case, I just take the rook with check, because why not? And we are a rook up, right? So I believe there are different options for me, but I will just come back with the queen to the central position. Let Me Win says, it seems some people are still in Zagreb. 100%. So nobody told me if the stream is fine, so I'll assume that it is. So I don't even have problems with the development here, so it should be just completely winning position with the extra rook, right? Yeah. What if I just protect the pawn? Because d5 pawn plays an important role. It controls c6 square. And as you can see, the knight has to go to ugly a6 square, which is good for me. But c4 had also this idea behind. Chronic Student says, yes, all good. I guess it's about the stream. Thank you very much. So today it is streamed directly to YouTube. So queen f6. And probably just a centralization should help. Now we have some pressure on e6. We may think of playing f5, and after e5 sacrifice the bishop there. Should be just good enough. Oh, simply e5. Now it's not going to work. So where is our checkmate? So queen g4 is the idea, but g2 is protected. I mean, let's just take here. And then the question is to take on d6 or to take on f7. Both are easily winning, but what is shorter? What is more efficient? I don't know. c7 is protected, so there is no immediate checkmate. But anyway, position is completely lost. So I believe after f4, the correct move should be g takes f4, and after bishop f4, knight to c6 this way. And then you play something like knight to f6 and knight to g4. That's the idea, to use the weakened g4 square. Maybe not even knight to g4, maybe bishop to g4, for example. If I play something like this, bishop g4 is possible. And then I should probably go something like bishop b5. You may try a6, getting pair of bishops. Don't know, position is complicated, and I don't know who's better here, all right? But that's interesting. In general, instead of playing h6, I would have played h5. Yeah, I know it weakens g5, but in my opinion, it's safer than h6. Creates fewer weaknesses. Okay, thank you for the game. Let us continue, and let's see if we have somebody else I've never played before. Yes, here is David Kresti. Accept. Yep, it worked. Good. d4, knight f6. After taking on f4, is in black already worse? The question from Chronic Student, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, there are some weaknesses in black's camp, but there are also some weaknesses in white's camp. So it's not so clear. Knight to f3, knight to c6. So Yeah, it's a famous line. C4, queen c2, bishop f5. No, queen takes b6. All right. It is considered a good ending for black, but as far as I remember, black needs a series of accurate moves here. On the other hand, they're quite natural. I mean, we play quick b5, b4 if white gives us a chance. Should we play b4 right now? There will be something like b3, so maybe it makes sense to start with the development. Again, I don't remember if we should start with this, because I want to put my bishop on f5 and actually keep it on this diagonal. That's why h6, preparing this h7 square for it. Now I guess just e6. So we have no problems with the light squared bishop. Let me win says, no, I'm not in shape. Come on. Me neither. So don't worry. You can challenge. For sure. Okay, let's take it. And play knight to d7. Because this knight may go to b6 and to a4. This plan usually works when white has the pawn on a3. It's not the case here, which means probably we should try this. Just b4. If white doesn't want to prevent this move, well, should be good for us, because we get rid of the doubled pawn and create some weaknesses for white on the queen side, right? So the idea is just to take on c3, let's say. And if white recaptures with the pawn, then c3 becomes a weakness, a target. But I missed this e4 move. Maybe it's not a problem if we just go away with the bishop, right? Because taking on e4 is not correct. We lose the c4 pawn. Well, very nice counter-attacking resource. Alright, so I'll just step back, but starts feeling like uncomfortable position, because white will attack d5. That's annoying. Maybe bishop h7 was a bit more accurate. Yeah, 100%. So the point is that the bishop controls b1 square, so the b7 pawn won't be a weakness. Am I right? Yes, you are, Kramnik student. That's exactly the idea behind having the bishop on this diagonal, but at the same time, I should have prevented, you know, this e4. Basically, I shouldn't have played some like knight to d7, I suppose. Most likely after knight e5, I should have played b4 immediately. Okay. So, now I have some problems with the d5. If I play knight f6, there's bishop e5, and d5 will be hanging again. So rook a5 is something that I wanted to play, but then bishop c7 followed by rook e1 check. This is really annoying. Oh my god, maybe my position is already not so good. So let's put the knight on f6. Then maybe something pathetic like castling lawn. I mean, protecting. Of course, if white gives me a chance to do that. White doesn't want to allow me castling, and that's correct. But now I control c7 square, so I can safely put my rook on a5 if I need to protect the pawn d5 additionally. So maybe, after all, it's not so bad for me. We will see, because position remains quite complicated. I still have some undeveloped pieces on the king side, but I'm going to finish the development like taking on c3 and then bishop to a3 developing the bishop and creating a direct threat of just bishop b2 attacking the rook on a1 and that pawn on c3. That's a typical thing, by the way. Maybe I can do this even right away, like bc3 takes, bishop a3, bishop f6 takes, bishop takes d5, bishop b2, but that is too risky. I mean, I have a feeling that I have time for this move, so let's make it. So here's a comment from Shelly. Let's expand it and read. Considering the hit, I know full well that my play will be pathetic. The severeness makes me comfortable to embarrass myself. Nice. So what happens if bishop takes f6, gf6, and bishop g4? Well, just probably king to d8. That's why white probably prepares doubling rooks. Well, I don't know. Let's take here, complete the development, and just see what's gonna happen. Bishop still controls e7, so rook to e1 is not necessarily dangerous, but the question is, what's the plan now? Probably just put the bishop on d3 and then prepare bishop to b2. I don't know. Let's try that. So now we break the connection between the rook and the pawn on c3. Well, at least for 1 second. At least for one move. What to do now? Just to take. Rook takes, so what? Don't see that we achieved anything. Probably I should keep this bishop on the board. So let's play this move. Maybe not the best square to keep the bishop on the board. What did we start with? Bishop b2, then bishop takes f6, right? I think rook to e8 may be a good prophylaxis. So if bishop takes f6, we take the rook on e3, so we exchange one pair of rooks, where after there is no invasion anymore. And this feels good. All right. And then we can focus on that bishop b2. But white is pretty aggressive here. I mean, what's going on? g5 is going to happen pretty soon. Wow. That is definitely something that I underestimated. All right, let's go away from here. I believe it's bad, but what can I do? Okay, at least some simplification. We're getting to c3, pawn a2 is also hanging. But I think white could have played much better a bit earlier. So let's take this way. Let's put the bishop on a3. Just regrouping a bit for attack. So we can take here. Check. Bishop e7. Now we have connected passers. I think it should be good enough. Yeah, let's go there. Yeah. Let's win it now. All right, so Kramnikson says white played really well and created good counterplay. At some point, it already felt that it was not a counterplay. It felt like I had some counter chances and white had very promising position. For example, here, when I played this knight e4 move, it was, well, partially desperation. I guess it was possible to start with bishop takes. Because in this case, as you can see, c4 is still under pressure. And if I take here, I mean, maybe there is even something like rook takes c4, but I don't think that it's needed. For example, what about bishop takes g7? I don't know what to do here. I mean, h6 is hanging. f3 is a threat of just winning a piece. So hell, I don't know what is the evaluation of this position. Probably something like rook g8 should be played. But then again, white is a pawn up after all. Maybe not in this line though. So what should be correct? Knight takes e4. D takes c4. Inclusion of this moves maybe not so helpful. All right. Okay, maybe it's not so simple. Probably just f3 first then. Yeah, that's interesting. Just bishop goes away somewhere, let's say to d3, and then bishop takes g7. But even here, I guess I have some counterplay after this exchange. Maybe not even counterplay, right? So bishop c1. Yeah, it's maybe not so clear. I thought white would have something really decisive immediately, but probably there is nothing specific. All right, because after this exchanges, I guess, yeah, I'm doing fine. If bishop g7, there is still this rook g8. All right, at least, because I don't see anything better than that. So bishop takes, let's say, takes here, sort of protecting e4 already, and intending to play f5, or maybe just taking on h4 first, and then f5 at some point. So hell, I don't know. So rook g3. What's next? Just rook takes h4. Yeah, it should be also fine for black. Yeah, maybe I was not so bad in that position. But white could have tried something more aggressive here. Let's say, what if g4 in this position? And then if bishop goes away, at some point, white may think, maybe just immediately. I mean, not even think about it, but just play f4 with the idea of f5. Closing my bishop forever. Don't know. Position doesn't look so simple for black, to be honest. Maybe knight e4 here, but then again, something tactical like taking, bishop c4, f6, yeah? Then bishop g7 first. Yeah, I would take white here. Yeah, so I misplayed it. As I said during the game, instead of taking on e5 after knight e5 move, I should have probably just played this b4 immediately. All right. So, I mean, b4 is already supported twice. I don't need that knight. The only thing is this pawn structure, which is not very typical, but I still think that black is doing well after subsequent c5 at some point. All right. Thank you very much for this challenge for this game. Let's see if we have somebody else I've never played before, and after that game we will get back to the normal order of challenges. So here is always blame the mouse, but we did play several games. There is also another guy we have played once. So here is Heps. So let's play Heps, accept. White pieces. All right, e4. What else? I mean, I don't know other openings. Let's do it. And Karakan, of course. What to play against Andrey Ostrovskiy? Obviously Karakan. Yep. Oh, this is a nice blunder. I mean, mouse, bleep, sleep, call it whatever you want. Bishop g4 was intended, obviously, but sorry. Happens. You cannot even imagine how many games I lost because of things like that. Right, was not very, you know, fair, probably. But what can I do? Right, one more game. Medusa, accept. Or Medusa, I don't know. Or Medo USA. There are different ways to pronounce it, I think. And only the player knows what he wanted to say with his or her nickname. Let Me Win says a short lesson. Lesson, which one actually? I don't know. What is the right order? Like first come first? Serve. All right, let's try something aggressive. I know it's not entirely correct, but why not? I mean, so if I play bishop f3, there is most likely some like knight takes, d4, queen d4, e5 takes f4, and then knight e5, typical thing in the center, so I would rather go away right now. I mean, now with the knight on b3, it will take much more time for me to create direct threats on the king side. Oh, f5. My god, didn't expect that. I mean, sometimes it works, but probably much later. Well, who knows? Let's take it. I mean, I have a feeling that there will be so many weaknesses after this move. On light squares, especially on d5. Should we just play knight d5 right away? We're not even in a rush to do that, so I mean, we can just castle first. Grishuk said that in the Sicilian, if you don't know what to do, you just push the kingside pawns. And he was damn right. King goes away. Preparing b5, I suppose, because immediate b5 was not possible because of queen d5. Maybe we should also continue with some sort of prophylaxis. So bishop f3 prevents b7, b5 move. Don't know though if it was really needed, because we weaken c4 square. Yeah, probably bishop f3 is already too much. Okay, now with the tempo to d5, I think knight b6 was interesting. Resource, just trying to use the weakness of c4. Now it's hard to bring the knight to b6 because I control that square twice. With the knight on d5 and bishop on e3. Alright, this is still possible, of course. Is it good? It's another question. If I take on e7, queen takes, and I cannot take on d6 because of queen takes e3 check, right? What about just taking here? Taking there. That's stupid. Stupid idea. Just wanted to centralize my pieces. I mean, it should be still better because of bishops. But it feels like I helped my opponent. Why didn't I just play rook h to e1? I was afraid of knight to e4. I mean, why didn't I play rook e1 before taking on c5? That's the question. Probably because of knight e4. So. Alright. This move I didn't see at all. I can take on c6. Look at this tactics. Nice one, by the way. Bishop takes c6. And after rook d2, bishop takes d2, and then rook e8 checkmate. Wow. I didn't expect I would actually find something like that today. But bishop e6 saves the game, right? But then I play bishop d5, and I will have the rook and two bishops against the queen, which should be a winning material advantage. So I missed bishop e6. All right. Okay, but any other move except for bishop e6 just loses for black, right? Because of rook e8. Bishop controls e8, so queen f7 doesn't help. So crowning student asks, are the two bishops overrated? I don't know, maybe somebody overrates them, but in a position where my bishops have amazing diagonals, I think they are still a great power, just as classics used to say. So now we're gonna win the bishop e6 for sure. Then we're going to put my bishop on c3, I suppose. That's a good question, how to take on e6. It depends on black's next move, of course, but in this case, I think rook takes e6 is better. Yeah, let's take with the rook. Now I wanted to play this move. Still exploiting the weakness of the back rank. Rook e6, and bishop on d5 is invulnerable for now. I want to support it with c4. Yeah, very pleasant position. It feels like black will never solve the problem of the back rank because any pawn move will be just a decisive weakening of the position because of my bishops. And without making a pawn move there, it's impossible to make the queen active ever. So I'm gonna play c4, bishop c3, and then the plan is just to play h4, h5, h6, winning the game, right? I don't see how black is going to save this. Yep. All right. Yeah, it's definitely hard. Interesting that I actually managed to spot this tactics, because at first glance it felt like the right move. But hey, even if there is no tactics, I can play something like queen c3 and I'm still better, I guess. c5 is hanging. So I expected actually something like bishop to e6 here. And something like this should be better for white, but it's not so clear. Obviously, black will have some counterplay now on the c file. So I didn't want to take on c5, to be completely honest. I wanted to play either a queen to d6 move. I think that was my main candidate in this case. Yeah, and I'm going to win the pawn, but probably saving both bishops on the board. And yeah, diffusing the pressure a bit after the queen's exchange. No, bishop c6 is a bit unusual. I have never had such a pattern in my games, I think. Yeah, rook d2 would be perfect if there would be no bishop e6, but even bishop e6 doesn't help. Yeah, so winning position. All right, so what was the mistake? I mean, f5 obviously is a bad move. But then after I started playing not the best moves, I suppose here black had chances to fight. You know, just playing knight b6 with the idea of knight c4. I have to do something against it. I'm not sure there is a simple defense. Then you develop your bishop on e6, or maybe even play d5, sacrificing the pawn, but opening the position and getting some active counterplay. That's the idea. All right, normal order of challenges. The first was V Guru Nathan, accept. Let's play. Okay. I even brought back my Yoda cup. I hope it will help a bit, you know, taking into account my shape. But well, after bishop takes c6, after I found it, I feel much better. So, it's not so bad, actually. So, Nimzo Indian, classic line. Bishop to g5 without playing a3. There should be no difference, I guess. In the long run, I mean. Maybe it's a smart move, I don't know. So h7 is heading. I have to protect it. And now h4, right? That's the point behind this setup. No, bishop h4. I would have played h4 with the pawn. Just to rotate in black, right? Not that I have to take that bishop, but anyway. It's kind of interesting. After h4, it's possible to play g4, then take on f6 and g5, so quickly developing the initiative. On the king side, using h6 as a nice hook. Now e4. I think it's not the right combination of ideas. I mean, it looks not correct. I don't know. But now, this bishop on d3 is quite passive. I can even try to save my bishop b4 on the board by playing a5 right now. And if a3, then bishop c5. Should we try that? I mean, why not? Let's do it. Okay, and here just this direction, dealing with that bishop. Knight g6, forcing the bishop to g3, or taking on f6, which is amazing for black, because all dark squares will be controlled perfectly. Let's see. If the bishop goes to g3, we have different ideas. I mean, the easiest is just to play knight h5 and then probably to f4. Sorry. But I think I will start with bishop d7. Just trying to complete the development. Right, bishop f6 is definitely not correct. Because now I really have the dark square domination. So white may play c5 right now, I understand, but I just play bishop d7 after that. Alright, b4. Maybe I'm overestimating my position, I don't know. So, what's going on here? Hard to say, but I have a feeling that bishop d7 is the right move. Knight goes back. Okay, so there is no threat of c5. And I have a feeling that I can take on b4 and take on f2, another tactical shot. Let's do it, right? I hope I'm not blundering something, but it looks like a possibility because rook on a1 is hanging. I was actually thinking about this ideas connected with bishop takes a4 at some point when I played bishop d7, but yeah, I didn't expect knight to c3, honestly. Yeah, it's a typical thing. I mean, when the bishop is there and rook on a8, it doesn't feel like a dangerous situation for white, but it's always possible to trick your opponent like this. Extremely careful in this type of positions. Right, where to put my queen now? We have extra exchange, right? Let's just put it on g5. Active square. Intending queen to e3 maybe. So we no longer have a dark square bishop on the board, but dark squares are still very, very weak in white's camp. And that is primarily the result of bishop takes f6, I guess. Queen b2. Okay, another rook to a8. 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . Didn't he say at the start of the show that he will blunder and play slow, and here he's spotting all tactics? Well, I expected that, Kravnik student. I didn't say I will do this. I said I expect me doing this. But, well, don't worry. I mean, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I will blunder something. Well, I didn't play queen e3 right now. I didn't capture the bishop on d3. How stupid I am. That was way simpler to find compared to bishop takes f2, right? Yeah. And I didn't do that. What does it mean? Well, nothing actually, but it was really simple. Come on. I hate myself when I don't play moves like that, you know? So knight takes f4, e takes f4, and g2 is hanging. That's the point. All right. White resigned. I mean, what was wrong? I think everything started with the e4 move. Was not correct. I guess something like knight e2 and simply castling somewhere was the right strategy. Having this bishop still active, controlling this long diagonal. And to be completely honest, after h6 I would have tried h4. I'm not sure if there is some theory, because I'm used to a3 move after queen c2. But anyway, h4 looks very tempting. And the point is clear. If I take on g5, h takes, g5 opens the h file. White quickly checkmates black, or at least regains the piece, I think. And the idea is that, well, this remaining pin along h4 d8 diagonal allows white to place like g4 a bit later, then quickly capture an f6, and then g5 open in files on the king side. Obviously, for this plan, white should rather castle the long side. Okay. And a bit later, this bishop takes f6. I don't like it. So bishop to g3 is much better, although it's not clear what bishop is doing here, but in fact, it's a very important defensive piece here. So with this bishop on the board, it's quite hard for black to organize any sort of attack. Okay. Yeah. And white still has some ideas based on b4 a bit later. Okay, shelling forward is the next. So, oh, your rating is also well, lower than 3,000. So I think this overhitting during, recent days actually affected a lot of players. As you can see, my rating is also way below 3,000, which is very bad. All right, so bishop f5. Is it possible with the pawn on c5? I just don't remember. Don't want to risk it, so I'm gonna play g6. All right. Castling. So, it's a different story, obviously, because white has this g4 plan. So my bishop is not gonna be here for a long time. So anyway, b5. Let's play b5. g4. Okay. Should go back. Bishop is terrible here, no questions. But what? I mean, yeah, it's simply a terrible bishop. Yeah. Nothing to add. I wanted to say something smart, but then realized there is nothing to say. And I did it to myself. Voluntarily. Yeah. I have to learn some positional basics, actually. It's never late to learn something for yourself. Well, at least I'm not that seriously worse, I guess. Yeah. So we can play some like f6, bishop f7, then prepare some like e5, I suppose. For instance, here. Don't see a big problem with this move. We cover e5 square, preventing knight f3, knight e5. And this knight may be still helpful after some like knight e6, knight c8, knight b6, knight a4. Okay, let's forget about it. We no longer have knight on the board. And this f4 is pretty cool. Yeah, white is better. White is better, I guess. Let's try to hold this one. Will be extremely hard though. It's a one-sided position. Okay, after this I think it's just a draw. Or I'm too optimistic. I mean, I expected g takes h6, and then playing there on the king side. Now I guess it should be pretty safe. But after bishop to d1, we have to make a correct move. Because, well, there is no even a threat, because if white plays b4, we take on a3, b3, the same. I mean, let's bring the king closer. Don't see a problem with that. Maybe we still have some chances even. I mean, bishop d5, king to the center somehow. Nah, it's not gonna work, I guess, but something like e5, I mean, at the right moment, sacrificing the pawn maybe. Don't really know. First I want to bring my king to c6 just to cover b5 and forget about that weakness. a4, is it a problem? I mean, it will be a dead pin there. So, I mean, it shouldn't be Shouldn't be a big deal. Like bishop c6 now. Alright. Should give me a pawn, I suppose. Or an exchange if white takes on b5. Okay, let's take it. Bishop f7 is coming. Oh. This is ugly. I mean, I didn't see that move. I didn't actually expect that, which is bad, because I had to expect such a move. That's my main weakness there. All right, the exchange. What is the right move now? Just e6 or a3? I suppose a3 should be played. Okay, now what? h5 is heading. So let's protect it. Oh! Completely missed that. I mean, what a patzer I am. That's fantastic. I mean, oh my god. Yeah, that's really bad. That's really bad. I did everything to make it happen, actually. Really annoying. Yeah, now I'm lost. Well, more or less. Yeah, I am. What a patzer. My goodness. Absolutely winning position. And then this, you know. Truly stupid. Maybe it's not so lost yet. No, it's gonna be lost. Now, after my next stupid move. Okay, it's embarrassing. Yeah. My goodness. It was a game of two overhitted guys. So a4 was a blunder for sure. I mean, if b takes a4, everything works out well. But bishop c6 should win a pawn, obviously. Then b3. Yeah, cb3 takes there. Yeah, rook is protected, so a b5 is already a threat, so I have to take. Then bishop there. Okay, nice. So now, how to play that correctly? I mean, a3 is a good move, I guess. But here, just realize that there is a threat of bishop f7 and g6 and so on. Right? And play something normal, like e6 is possible, for example. Because now with bishop f7, then king e7. If bishop takes h5, right, just rook h8, I have time. So bishop f7, then I just take that pawn. If g6, I have king e7 at very least. I can also just play rook h2 now, take that rook and win the game. Oh, my goodness. It's just, yeah, rook h8. Probably the worst move ever. Now there is a g6, g7 threat, and I don't know what to do, actually. Maybe there is still a defense, but I don't see it. Well, of course, I can play something like this. G6 and rook there. But it's unclear. I mean, I don't know who's better here. So white has a clear plan of just bringing the king to b3, taking on a3, and what black has here. Maybe something like... No, I don't even have time for it. I mean, I thought of e6, king d5, and then if takes, king c4, but there is c4. Kramnikson asked, after bishop h5, rook h8, g6, I just take the bishop there. So e6, bishop there, rook h8, g6, I just take the bishop, and after g7 I have another rook. Okay, I can take on a3, but I just play here, and I'm a rook up. So it doesn't work. Doesn't work for white. But a nice try. Yeah, okay, let's forget about this embarrassment. Sorry for that. So, to be honest, it should have been a draw, but I think after my h5 move, it was possible just to capture. And in that case, white should be definitely better. I mean, white has a very simple plan here to exert some pressure on g6. So, and I have nothing here on the queen side, so I have no counterplay here. Maybe I'm fine if I'm in time to play rook h8, king g7, bishop f7, king f6, and then, you know, just bring both rooks in the h file. Again, it should be balanced, but the question is if I have that time. Which is going to play h5 very soon. Alright, never mind. Thank you for the game. Kramnik student is the next. Except, before playing that game, I have to just sip some tea. Yeah. Okay. e4. Let's go. Knight to f3. Never changing. Kramnik student with his knight earth. Let's do knight earth. Just following the recommendations of Grishuk. Rolling pawns there. On the king side. So now f5 leaves e5 now protected. I think h4 is interesting. Just h5, g6 this way. So b5 with the idea of b4, and the knight doesn't have a good square except for a4, I suppose. So should I take on c6 now, or should I just continue with h5 and after b4 play that ugly knight a4 anyway? I mean, I'm not sure, but let's try it. After all, we're trying to blockade the pawns, but what am I going to do against knight to c5, let's say? I'll just take c6, take c5, take d8, right? Yeah. Still okay for me. Queen cannot jump to a5 immediately because if knight takes c6. Bishop b7 protects the knight. Probably creates a threat of just taking on d4, by the way. Should I just put my knight on b3 now? Then I no longer attack e6, so g6 will be not that efficient. On the other hand, if I play g6 right now, then after knight d4, gf7, king f7, taking on d4 with the queen, and some like bishop f6, or maybe queen a5 first, my position may become not very pleasant because my knight on a4 is quite bad. So yeah, I would just step back. It may be also not enough, by the way, to save that knight on a4. It's quite ugly. Yeah, very strong move. Very strong one. Okay, let's take. What can I do? Yeah. Misplayed it completely. 94. Again. Pretty cool one. If I take on d4 with the knight, cd4, bishop takes c4, attack on c2 and h1. Okay. No. Not okay. f4 is hidden. Bishop to d3, I suppose. Let's play this move, I don't know. c4, just knight takes d4, something like that. And against this, I wanted to try this move. Maybe it's completely wrong, but I didn't see anything better anyway. So bishop on d3 is quite good. As a defender, I mean. Now I can take on b4. No, f4 drops. God. Okay. Another prophylactic move. I mean, I'm not attacking, I'm defending right now, but it feels like I have to. I really hope that black's attack will stop at some point, and then we will continue with this. Either g6 or something like that. So now, should I just take twice on b3? Or should I take on b3 and play a3, but then bishop takes? Like, we'll have a tremendous initiative. Okay, let's try this. Bad position. I mean, it's really so terrible. Probably I should have just tried rook to c1. I don't know. No. It's not how it should work, for sure. I mean, what I play in this game. So a3, takes a3, takes a3. Rook a3 looks just very dangerous for white. So I'll just take on b3. Hoping to close the save file somehow. Like bishop c2, c4 maybe at some point. Trying to run away, but I don't really believe I will manage. Yeah, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Embarrassing. Looks a bit scary. Looks a bit lost, I would say. Let me win. Let's call the things the right way with their real names. Rook b8 is a bit slow, isn't it? So maybe we'll have some time. I would have played some like rook a7 to be honest. Straightforward attack, then rook to a8, so on. So, what's going on? 30 seconds. My opponent has only 30 seconds here. That is strange. I mean, maybe this works as well, but it's definitely not needed. So let's try to understand. Oh, queen a7 is the idea, right? But bishop c4. And c2 square will be possible to occupy. I guess rook takes b3 is the idea. And then what? Then I will be either completely lost or maybe we'll still have some chances. No, let's take the bishop. Let it be. Okay, queen a7 doesn't create a threat. I have c2 square. So I can play this move, I think. And just run away. Okay, d5. All right, that was just a super luck. I mean, let's come back to this moment. Just rook a7. I don't see how to save the game, honestly. So what to do here? I mean, I want to play rook a8 and rook a1. How to react? Rook to c1. Okay, queen b6. So what? So like g6, okay, ignore it. Just there. Well, maybe... No, against this move, I think it's even possible to play something like that. Yeah, queen b6 actually attacks the b3 pawn. If I play this move, there is d3 resource. Bishop e3 though. Okay, what if we start with this move? Then maybe king to c2. Okay, maybe it's not so lost again. Maybe it just looked so scary, but probably was not so deadly lost. I mean, don't know, but it's still hard to believe for me, to be honest. So, another possibility is just to play bishop a6, by the way. Also interesting way to continue the attack, just exchanging this very important defender, and if it takes, then bishop a6. Same idea to double rooks. Now there is no bishop anymore, so I cannot actually play something like bishop c4, and light squares become automatically very weak. Yeah, this is probably the easiest thing to try. All right. Hard to command, but yeah, you were definitely really close to a super good position. Okay, Super Rico. Playing with black. Yeah. Overhitting, guys. Overhitting, that's the thing. Everybody plays that against me today. Well, let's play something different. I'm really tired of playing the same stuff in each and every game. Let's take this pawn. No, your plan was not slow, Kramnik student. I think it was way faster than my attack on the king side. Oh. My computer is also sort of, doing the stuff in the background. Maybe overhit it pretty soon. I don't know what's going on. Simply going for that pawn is probably not very efficient, right? But I will try, nevertheless. So I create 2 threats to take on a2 and to play knight to c2. White has to deal with this threat, obviously. Now, what if I put my knight on e4? This looks interesting. Creating a threat to another pawn, f2 now. a3 creates no threats. So I'll just capture f2 and capture h1. Alright, because rook on a1 is hanging, that's the thing. So extra rook for now. And there is a chance to win more after knight c2. Followed by d6, or maybe we should start with d6, right? Yeah, let's start with the d6, attacking g4. And creating this threat simultaneously. Knight to c2. Attacking that rook on a1, and now bishop e6, developing the bishop and grabbing the rook. Well, at least the pawn. That is actually just a pawn. So the resignation was probably premature. So b3 was still possible. Bishop takes, rook to b2. That should be winning position, but it's not so clear. That's what I mean. Because I'm probably losing that knight after bishop g2. But anyway, thanks for the game. Next one is Talas. It's gonna be hard. Talas is very, very strong opponent as well as others, of course. But I do remember that my games against Talas were not very simple. Chronixon says, yes, he was also short of time, so I thought bishop d5, opening the b file, might scare him. No. Talas, where are you? I made my move. e4. Your move now. No response, I guess. So. All right, next. e4. Til Shah. We even played once. Interesting. Fuchs is here. Hello. Nice. I'm not sure what black is actually doing here. So black sacrificed a pawn. For what? I expected something like e5 against c3. That was pretty much in the spirit. Now I can see just the extra pawn. I don't say clear compensation. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Overhitting. Castles. Alright, it's time to develop the pieces. Have a problem with the dark squared bishop. Doesn't say good square for it. Maybe I should have just put it on e3. I mean, it's pathetic. It's always bad. Almost always bad to put the bishop like that. But since we have extra pawn, I mean, some things can be tolerated. Takes in advance. Pre-move. Bishop f4, probably intending to exchange my bad bishop, right? So we should just say yes, please. All right, no problem with the dark squared bishop anymore. Simplification is also good for white, having extra material. Now, how to place the queen here? Our plan is just to place c4, c5 or d5, something. So just to create a passer, I guess. And then convert the advantage. Okay, let's just put the queen on e2. Controlling c4 square. I want to put this rook on d1, e1 to d1, then c4, and something. Let's see. Let's play simple chess. Rook there. Okay, why not c4? So d4 is hanging. Let's protect it. That's what I wanted to have here. So put black's pawn on the b file, and it would be just a typical position with hanging pawns, but it's not the case here because we have an extra one. But let's see if we have to. Should we play something like d5? I mean, or c5? What's better? d5 looks interesting. So e d5, but then if rook d5, then queen d5, right? Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. If we play c5, we give up d5 square, but I think it's not a big deal. So let's play c5. Now we have d6 and b6 squares for our knight. It's a compensation for weakened d5. Right? Right. Let's go g4. Kicking the knight away, and then knight e5. Now, should I include queen f3 or just immediate knight c4 followed by knight e6? Don't know. Let's try it. And if queen f3 is not necessarily that good. And this is strange. Am I blundering something? I don't think so. Just queen f3. Again, don't see anything wrong with this move. Maybe black didn't notice that after knight c4 I attacked the queen. Maybe that was the reason. Because now I'm just, yeah, minor piece up. Okay, so that position was not so clear, by the way, because I weakened my king side, and something like queen to b5 could have been interesting. Oh, knight to c3 was possible here, but then again, queen e1, right? Same trick. I'm just going away and yeah, winning some materials. And knight c3 was not possible. Fortunately, because I didn't see that move at all. Something like queen b5 could have been interesting. Yeah, because if rook b1, then knight to c3 is good. Knight e6 is impossible because my queen is hanging. Well, probably something solid like queen f1 could have been just enough to continue with you know, this knight e6 plan. But still, there was a lot of fight. All right, after c3, I expected e5. I mean, this looks so natural, right? Because you sacrificed a pawn, you want to open up a position and attack my king, most likely because I lack some development. If you don't do that and simply make normal moves, like, you know, normal development moves, you're losing your initiative. You're losing the moment. And then there is a question why you sacrificed a pawn, right? What for? Next one. Crispy. What's going on here? Playing with black pieces. Waiting for my opponent to move. To make the first move. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, aboard. Sorry guys, but you're not responding, so go in further. So, Joby 276. E4. C5, immediate response. Let's play bishop b5. Okay, let's take. This is an interesting position, by the way. Interesting pawn structure. I mean, yeah, obviously, black has pair of bishops. Something that I usually don't allow to my opponent. But I have a pawn center, which is a compensation. And now black has a problem with a c6 pawn. So, well, at least I hope it's going to be a problem. What is the right way to play here? Because black is more or less ready to play c5 next move, right? We have to prevent it. I don't want to play b4 because actually I want to keep this pawn on b2 to be able to play b3 to cover c4 if it's needed. On the other hand, yeah, c5 is coming. We can obviously try some like queen to c3 attacking the pawn. And then, if rook to c8, then something like knight d2 could be interesting. I mean, let's try that. If knight d7, then knight d2, knight b3. I think I'm in time to bring the knight to b3 and then to c5. And from c3, I also protect my e5. Another option is to bring my bishop to g5 right now. Is it a good idea or it's just a bullshit? Don't know. Looks interesting. Again, if I will have... No, it's not so simple to evaluate if I should give up that bishop as well. Rook there. Okay, knight d2 now. And I'm in time. Yep. Good. That's what I wanted to achieve. Now my knight goes to c5. a6 is already attacked, which is terrific. Now my plan should be simple, just to bring rooks to the c file, I think. All sorts of rook lifts, or it's better to say heavy pieces lifts, are possible. So I can alternate threats to different pawns here. So can I play queen a5 now, let's see. Just attacking a6. That looks good. I can take the pawn, but b2 is hanging, right? So can I play b3, rook b5, queen takes a6, queen a6, knight a6. Looks playable, right? I hope I don't miss something simple. Rook c5, queen a7, yeah. So queen is hanging. Which means I should have time to, you know, bring my queen back to a safe position if it's even needed. c6 is also hanging here. Yeah, exchange, okay. extra pawn now. c6 is still weak. All right, let's just go here. I like the position of the knight on c5, but I have to be careful because if the knight is under pressure, there's something like bishop to e5, right? And now bishop wants to go to f8. Okay. What should be played now? Draw? No way. Let's protect the pawn on d4. It's our main and only weakness in this position. And then the regrouping is needed. I suppose we should bring the knight to a4, although it looks a bit strange to put the knight on the edge of the board. But I want to close the a file for now with the temple, then bring my rook to c1 and put it on c2, protecting a2. And then at some point my knight will get back to normal position. Okay. Alright, tempo move. c5. No, I don't think it works, but just want to play this move to protect e5. Maybe it was not needed. Okay. Black is gonna have some problems with the bishop on c5. I just put my king on f1. Now the bishop is pinned. I have a very simple threat of rook to c1. And I'm not sure that black has a defense. Rook to c7 doesn't help. I just play rook to c1, so what? Rook can now go away from 5th rank because bishop on c5 will be hanging, right? Yeah, it's lost immediately. All right. Yeah, instead of doing that, of course, bishop to a3 deserves serious attention just to control c1 square. And yeah, white still has to work to win this position. I'm not sure there is a clear plan or something. Maybe just centralizing the king first and then to c, maybe moving the knight back to c5, maybe relocating it to d3, maybe then playing b4. Don't know. There are plenty of different ideas here, of course. All right. Yeah. Just one loss for Andrey today, says Kramnik student. Yeah, that's true. By the way, I lost to Schelling. Just a typical thing, usual result. No surprises. Yeah, but it should have been much better. I mean, than just a loss. It should have been at least a draw. But I did everything to lose that game, and yeah, the result was deserved. All right, guys, thank you very much for being with me. That's it for today. As for the next week, I'm not sure if everything will be according to our normal schedule. So just, follow the news on Chess24 and you will be informed. Yeah. Okay. Wish you all the best and hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.